Shalom, shalom. Sleazy E is falling apart. Esau is the end of the world. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, because the letter J in the English alphabet did not exist 2,000 years ago. Single honors to the double honors to my elders at great milestone. Forgive me. Single honors to the elect. Peace and bless to the 1/3 and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. I'm not gonna even waste time. I'm gonna get right into this video. I'm a little tired, but I'm gonna get right into this video. I feel like you need to watch this video. The brother Amazing Lucas. I recommend you follow him. I'm also gonna leave the link of the full video in the description box. I think it's like 9 minutes long, 10 minutes long, but I'm not gonna play the whole video. I'm gonna play certain portions that speaks on Esau, who he refers to as the lineage of evil. Or do you call it the lineage of wickedness? No, the lineage of evil is what he called them. And as you can see, they're declining because they're at the end. Remember, in 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, it clearly says Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it, the follower. And Esau, the so-called white man, woman, and child today, they are literally ruling the world right now. Job 9:24, the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. Right? So as of right now, who's ruling the earth right now? Esau, Edom, that's the wicked. The border of wickedness, Malachi 1. Okay? But now you can see that they're starting to fall and crumble. And there's the interview between Nick Fuentes and I forgot the other Edomite dude. And he's pretty much put it all out there like, hey man, we're not doing too good right now as Caucasian folks, Edomites. But without further ado, I'm gonna let Amazing Lucas pull you through.
And because they're grown so accustomed to this power, to this control, it being stripped away from them, they don't have an identity. We're witnessing them having an identity crisis. That's why you see when it comes to the school shootings, that's why you see when it comes to suicide rates, that's why you see when it comes to depression, when it comes to the birth rates, there is a collapse that we are witnessing. And they are banking everything right now on Donald Trump. That's what they're banking. They're banking on Donald Trump and people like Nick Fuentes and people like Tucker Carlson to re-energize them of like their manhood, of their purpose, that, hey, this is a white country and we got to stand up and fight and we can't allow this to happen. And it's just, it's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic to see, but it's also sad, man.
I have nothing left.
Going into the interview, one way that they managed to cope with this loss of power is the blame game. Every accusation is a confession for these people, for this lineage of evil. So you have, Nick Fuentes talk about that he got radicalized by Mark Levin, which I think is hilarious when it comes to race, where it's like, hey, if white people aren't the majority in this country, that would be a bad thing.
I was listening to Mark Levin's show. America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good.
And that's what we're seeing with this administration. That's what we're seeing with a lot of the white youth that are being galvanized and radicalized due to not having any other purpose. Damn. It's sad, but they cope with it by saying, hey, it's the Jewish person, right? It's the Jews' fault that I can't get a woman because of the interracial propaganda. It's the Jews' fault that I can't get a job and create this nuclear family because of the DEI. It's the Jews' fault that, they're having these laws that are benefiting or stopping the racism because, of CRT. They're teaching it into the, in the schools and blaming white people. It's the Jews' fault. And that's 9 out of 10, where you see a lot of these, these fragile, white youth and white men go to. It's the blame game.
See, Sleazy E is losing his identity. But what is Esau's identity? To live by the sword and to have the fatness of the earth. But guess what? Everybody else on earth, almost everybody else on earth, the other heathens, they all have weaponry. They all have military. Talking about the major ones who are a major threat to you. Primarily China, Russia, India, and other countries that's outside of the EU and the NATO. That's how you held your power. By rape, rob, and murder throughout the whole earth. But what's happening is that you're losing that power. There starts to become a transfer of power, but one that is more profitable shall be held in position to rule over the earth, and that's YAHAWASHI, who in the world ignorantly called Jesus. I'm going to read this precept, Jeremiah 50 and 23. How was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon, America, become a desolation among the nations? A desolation among the nations is going to happen in World War III when thermonuclear warheads are going to blitzkrieg America. I just uploaded a post yesterday saying that Russia could strike America as early as tomorrow, which would be today. So that's just another wars or rumors of wars. But remember what the scripture says. Every battle was with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this one shall be with fuel of fire. That's literally in the Bible. Isaiah 9:6, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, their demise is here, but the hammer of the whole earth, the hammer in this instance in my mind is synonymous with the gavel. All right, the gavel that the judge uses at the courthouse, the wooden mallet, order in the court, doom doom doom. That's also a form of power too, because they have the power of attorney, things like that, power of to sentence you to life or to sentence you to probation. You understand what I'm saying? They're losing that type of power because they want to be the power of the whole earth. Job 9:24, the earth given to the hands of the wicked, and they're losing it, right? And Mr. Fuentes was also crying about being about their population, their numbers being very low. Well, you are the least of the heathens, the least of the flock of the heathens anyhow. But the reason why that's happening because of your low birth rates. You're becoming the minority. In the early 30s or 40s, you were the 40% of the world population. Now you're down to like 14%. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're Edomites, you're lepers, in a sense. So what? You're gonna die out because you do a lot of incestual engagement, things like that. You quarantine yourself off from the rest of the world because you want to try to preserve your genes, but you're dying off. You're dying off, and not only that, because of diseases and things of that nature, you're also killing each other off. All right. All black on black crime is not real. There's such a thing as one crime designated to one race. We all commit the same crimes because we all are humans. But Ësau, you commit the most DUI murders. You commit the most incestual grapes. You commit the most larceny, the most laundering. You commit the most murders, all of that, because most unalivings that happen to a nation happen mainly by the same people because you're all in close proximity to each other. All right. Nonetheless, let's get back to it.
And if you think about it, that in and of itself is sad because it's like you're saying you're the superior race of people. You know, you do everything great. You create, Vikings, you civilization builders, but you're losing the country and you're losing by every metric to a group of Jewish people. Is that that's what you're telling me? You're losing to these people? It's kind of pathetic, to be honest. And I think we're seeing just a circular turn of events where it's like they blame and then it's like, that's kind of pathetic to admit that. Then they blame, that's kind of pathetic to admit that. They blame, that's kind of pathetic to admit that. While at the same time, they have this vision of themselves. Once again, goes back to control, right? They control how they are perceived. They control how we are perceived and how other groups of people are perceived. And you see that their vision of how they view themselves is like this Chad alpha male who's like, just the ruler of the world. And in reality, it's furthest thing from the truth. It's the furthest thing from the truth. You see a lot of these racists, a lot of these, you know, the white nationalists and whatnot, they are always on the polar opposites of the spectrum. Either they're very skinny and fragile, you know, they look very frail or in their appearance, or you have these bloated, fat, you know, corpulent individuals. And it's just like, neither one of them is this Chad image that they view themselves as.
The blame game. Blame game, blame game. That's one thing that Esau do, man. He would not take accountability. Why? Because he is the devil. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 23. And he called unto him, to them, and to him, Salakia. And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables. That's what got me mixed up. How can Satan cast out Satan? The word Satan just means adversary, your enemy, your foe, your opponent, right? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. We're looking at the demise and the destruction of America from within. Because this kingdom, don't get it twisted. Esau, also called white people, are Edomites. They can label themselves German, Polish, from Uzbekistan, or whatever the hell, Italy, France. That's cool. You all are still descendants of Esau. Even those small hats with the curly sideburns, all right, they are too. They are the Dukes of Edom as well, all right? Whether that's Sephardim or the Ashkenaz, it don't matter. I gotta say it like that. Gotta be careful. I want to get popped off. But they're bickering against one another. But guess what? They all lumped in together. Like I listened to Tariq Nasheed that time. He said he called them white supremacists. You know, we know them as Edomites, but either way, they're the same thing. They're lineage of evil, white supremacists, or Edomite supremacists, or just straight Edomites. That's who they are. But now they're putting the blame game. Well, the Jays, they're the ones that promote the corn, and the Jays, they're getting all of our funding and there. So they have to blame somebody for why their country is Salakia. Why their country's on the demise. It's no different. We break up slavery. Yeah, man, y'all sold us into slavery, man. What are you talking about? No, your own people sold you into slavery. Oh, but you didn't have to buy us. You see how it goes? No, the Jays were the ones who put you guys in slavery. No. They were funding with you while you also exposed us out of Spain and Portugal. Like I always say, the first slaves came from Spain and Portugal out of the transatlantic slave trade. So who were they expelling from Spain if the first slaves came from there? I thought they were expelling the Jews. Oh, so the Jays were expelling themselves? Still smell kind of fishy. But then again, they still won't take accountability for that. And the reason why they won't take accountability because they are the devil. Like I said, let me read that and let me get right back to the lesson. Well, to the video, I meant to say. This is the lesson. I started this lesson tired. I had to doze off for a minute and woke back up, and I'm doing it again, man. I got to feed the sheep. John chapter 8, verse 44. You are your father, the devil. The word devil, go back to the word diablos, which means a liar or a slanderer. Esau's great at that. And the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Who is this, y'all? Cain. Murdered his brother, and the bold not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. So when you speak the truth to Esau, he can always say what? When you speak the absolute truth, what's the first thing? He say, oh, that's a lie. Just flat out say that's a lie. With no evidence, with no examinations or nothing, just, that's a lie. Because they're the devil. The devil hates the truth. It's not in him. Like the scripture said, who could turn the crooked thing straight? Who could turn an unclean thing to a clean thing? You can't. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. Damn right. Take responsibility for you being a terrible leader. And the Lord gonna find one worthy to take your stand, Esau. Let's get back to the video.
But the one part of the interview that really sent me into the spiral of depression was Nick Fuentes talking about, why he's not married and, the relationship a gap and what's going on right now.
I mean, honestly, It's the women. The women are extremely liberal. I don't know. I personally find women very frustrating.
And, you know, Tucker Carlson apologizes for calling him gay. Nick Fuentes doesn't even acknowledge it, right? He just smiles. That's because Nick Fuentes is a homosexual. That's really the comedy of this all, is that he's a homosexual. He's been caught watching trans porn. You know, the constant degeneracy that he speaks ill against, this is what, you know, he's consuming on a regular basis.
I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way.
Yo, understand real quick. Esau, you're in power, but you're still complaining about women. They're out of control. You're the reason why they're out of control. I think it was Eustace Mullins had a conversation with one of the Rockefellers. I asked him about feminism. It was like, feminism? He said, feminism, we didn't create it for equality. They created it for profit. They literally created feminism so that women can work and they can tax more people. Like Meyer Amschel Bauer, the head of the Rothschild said, the head of the International Banker said, give me control of inner nations money and I care not who make the laws. And you see America today is a physical manifestation of that. They can care less about you wanting to marry your dog or your sister, or you want to be identified as a mule. Although they control your funds or your money, they control you. You can see that right now with the SNAP, the EBT, and the Section 8. They don't give a damn what you believe in, but we control your ass. And that's where we at right now. But Esau, you have run out of your wits for women. Let's be honest. You don't really like women, Esau. You use them to reproduce and that's it. Once your women get to about 35, hit the wall or whatever, you discard them. You can care less about your women. And then those women turn into bitter Karens because they don't get any damn attention from men unless they're somewhat attractive. But you mistreat your women a lot. Okay? And I said this before. Like Esau, in America, you make up 28, the male. You make up 28% of the population in America. Caucasian males, right? But you make up for 70% of child pornography and all of this sexual assaults and things. You make up for 72% of that. And the UCLA study said that 92%. It's my Eve. I'll text her later. And it says over 92% is a UCLA study. 92% of like people who have sexual the impulses or sexual desires, or I forgot exactly what they called it. You know, pretty much they really can't control their sexual urges. 92% of those were Caucasian males. You're sexual deviants. You're the ones who control the industry, but you'll be quick to say, "Oh, the Jays control it. They're the reason why the women are liberated in the way they are." No, you did that. You're your own worst enemy. And it's got to the point where a Edomite man raise his daughter the way he wants to, and little Karen, well, not little Karen, little Tiffany will leave the house, go to college, come back, haircut, freaking gain weight, got septum piercings, and I hate you, Dad, the Caucasian male, you're the cancer of the earth, we need to get rid of you. And now she over there with Tyrone getting trains ran on them. That's what's happening right now. That's really what's happening. It's really a war against the sex. You don't want your seed, your old seed to be pretty much I want to say sexed out, xed out in a sense, because of our genes. Melanin is more dominant than people who don't have melanin. Okay, and that's what you're really afraid of. And besides, you don't really like women anyway. You like each other. You like men.
But the comedy and the ironic part of this interview is them professing to be high IQ and high impulse control, right? That's like the stereotype that they love to throw on black people. Oh, you guys are low impulse control, right? And I find it hilarious because this goes back to, once again, control. is that it got to a point in the conversation where they're talking about, hey, we should throw people who do porn in jail. The people who, you know, create porn, throw them in jail. It should be stopped. We should stop OnlyFans. We should stop all of this.
Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn supplier in the world, or the guys who run OnlyFans. I hope someone will say that. And
Someone needs to.
I hope someone arrests them, like right away.
What?
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna stop it right there. Like Amazing Lucas, it was saying sarcastically, this is kind of sad. This is kind of sad, and then laugh about it. This is really then sad. Y'all talk about some put the people in jail who make corn and all this and that. Get out of here. Can they go on and say like, yeah, I mean, all the males want to do it, man. Their life today is just smoking weed, playing video games, and corn. That's the society that you created. Separate everybody. All right. Everybody get enumerated, get drunk or high off or something. You sitting inside all day, you either watch Netflix, you binge watch some shows, or you play the game. Or watch Netflix or some junk, binge watch the games. And then after that, you just what? You watch corn, or you go on the Tinder, or you go on the Bumble or whatever. There's no real family structures here. Esau, you destroyed the family structure. That's why your society is crumbling. Because what is the core? What is the foundation of any society? I don't give a damn what language you speak. I don't care about your status in society. I don't care about your ideology. What is the number one, the core foundation of any society? Families. And you do not put that first. So this is the end for you. Like I said, this is the end. I don't even want to speak anymore. Hey, I'm going to leave the link of this video in the article, and you can watch it for yourself. And like I said, also subscribe to the brother Amazing Lucas.